Hi there, I care and you matter. I'm Shannon and welcome to my channel and welcome to another Writer Wednesday video. Today is a little different. I want to talk about the kinds of things I watch when I'm procrastinating writing. And it's funny because when I'm intentionally procrastinating and I'm well aware of it, I try to figure out some way whatever I'm doing can benefit my writing later on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of in medias res, and I'll put the spelling of that on the screen for you. I think it's Latin. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the idea of in medias res is that you actually drop the reader in the action right away. There's no preamble, there's no long, expository text or explanation or long drawn out descriptions of a scene or the character. No, you drop the reader right into the middle of the action. And whether you write fiction or nonfiction myself, I don't think it matters. Obviously, with a fictional book, a fictional story, you're going to want to drop the reader in the middle of the action, hook them from the get-go, right? Don't waste their time. But the same is true for a nonfiction book. I can't tell you how many nonfiction books I've picked up, and one of two things happens. Either they give you the good stuff right away, but then they beat a dead horse going over the same specific thing for the next umpteenth chapters, and they could have covered it in one chapter or a pamphlet, right? Or, almost to a detriment, I pick up a nonfiction book and it's so boring. It's like, okay, you may have an introduction, you may have a foreword. How many different things, how many different chapters, how many hundred words do I have to read to get to the good stuff? Will you please value my time, what little free time I have? Again, that goes for fiction or nonfiction, in my opinion. And so the other day, I was actively procrastinating. I was just not in a good place. And I know that they say that motivation comes before work only in the dictionary. But I also know that I feel better about myself when I push myself to do what it is I have to do or whatever I need to do to reach my goals. But I also know that the quality of my writing, the quality of my work suffers if I'm not in a good place to write. I mean, why sit down and do crap work, right? Because then I'm just going to have to redo it anyway. So the other day, I gave in. I willfully made the decision that I was not in a good place to write. Sometimes we need to listen to our body and our mental health. And let me tell you what, my mental health was suffering last week. If you watched my Talk Tuesday video, you'll know why. Go watch that last video. But yeah, I was just in that place. And so I got on, if you have Amazon Prime, or even if you don't, I don't know, maybe you can find this somewhere else. Anyway, I decided, okay, I'm not going to allow myself to binge watch videos or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I'd been doing that for a while, and I thought, nope, okay, if I'm going to be intentional about this, I'm really going to do it, right? It's just like if you're going to cheat on a diet, don't waste your calories on a drink, get something good. So I got on Amazon Prime, we have a membership, and a movie came up, and it was called The Magic of Ordinary Days. And I'll put the title up on the screen, and I'll put a link down below if I can find a link to the film. But it's an older film. I think it was a Hallmark Channel film. Don't quote me on that. But it's like 20 years old. Carrie Russell was in it. And it intrigued me and thought, okay, I'll give it a watch. And I'll tell you what, at first I was like, I didn't know if this was going to be my kind of film because, and I don't want to give anything of the film away. But it dropped me so into the story. The story from the get-go was already in place that I was like, oh no, wait. It was so good immediately that I thought, wait a minute, I think I would have enjoyed leading up to that. I mean, and I'm going to say, no, I don't think, I'll share some of it without giving it all away. This woman becomes pregnant out of wedlock. This is in 1940s era. And it's decided that she needs to go and be married before she begins to show. And so her father, who's a priest or a pastor, one of the two, man of the cloth, decides that it's what's best. And so she gets on a train And the movie starts with her on the train to actually go marry this man sight unseen who knows her situation, young man, and she's young as well, agrees to marry her sight unseen. And so you essentially are the viewer. The movie starts with her on the train on the way to go see this guy, and I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute, there was this huge backstory that I probably would have enjoyed hearing and seeing and learning. But you know what? I appreciated the fact that you were immediately dropped into the thick of something. I mean, the movie was just like, boom. And I watched the whole film. I loved it so much. I ended up buying it for like $2.99, $3.99, because it's an old movie, right? But I want to watch it without commercials next time, because I think it's available free on Amazon Prime if you have that with commercials. Still worth a watch. And I got to say, the film was great, but it just struck me at the beginning of that I was like, wait a minute. I almost didn't like the in medias res, right? I felt robbed. But as the movie progressed, it was so wonderful, because I'm like, you know what? The movie was great from that point forward. So good, in fact, that about 20, 30 minutes into the film, I didn't mind missing the backstory that I thought I would. And I actually feel like the screenwriter, the producer, the director, they valued my time. They're like, yeah, this is a really good story that we're showing you because it has a complicated front story, but that's not what this portion is about. This is the story we're going to tell you. And it didn't need to have a diluted backstory in order to make it good. It just dropped you right in, and it was so entertaining. So highly recommend that film. And that, while I was watching that, I was thinking about that in my writing. You know what I mean? Value, I don't care what you write. I don't care what your genre. I don't care, what it is, fiction or nonfiction, but really make an effort to value your reader's time. Value the money that they've spent in purchasing your book, and make sure that it's something that will resonate quickly, but that you're not having to beat a dead horse. And it might, if you're a fiction writer, it might mean trying a few different beginnings. I have written a fiction book, middle grade fiction book. If you followed me or subscribed to my channel for any length of time, you know that last year that was a personal project, a personal goal of mine. And I wrote a book, Meg and the Tiny Token, still available for purchase on Amazon. In fact, I'll put up an image on the screen. I'll leave a link to that book below. It's my only fictional book. It's for middle grade. And I'm really proud of it. And I learned that fiction really isn't for me, at least not at this point. But I will have to say, I tried several different first 3 chapters for that book, because I really wanted to do that, even for middle grade. And middle grade, if you're unfamiliar, is upper elementary, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Though I believe even adults hopefully would enjoy this story. But yeah, I tried several different beginning chapters just to get that in medias res, because it's so important to hook your reader. And so I would say priority 1 is hook them, pique their curiosity, get them wanting to turn the page, get them to want to continue reading, captivate them right off the bat. Number 2, don't beat a dead horse. Keep moving. Don't let a great story start slowing down. Keep up the rhythm. Keep up the action. Keep them turning that page. And if you're writing nonfiction, keep giving them the good stuff. Oh, I would compare it to this. I hate nothing more than dropping $7 to $9 on a magazine because of the headlines or the cover, right? It piques your curiosity, some of the article titles. And then you buy the darn magazine and you get it home and you're like, 1, where are those articles that I was teased on the cover? Or 2, it's like, what? I paid $8 for maybe 200 words of value and the rest is ads? Oh no. In fact, that's why I don't buy magazines anymore. Unless I go to a local bookstore or a Target and I flip through the magazine first to make sure it's going to be worth my while. Do the same for your readers too. If you are writing nonfiction, give them all the good stuff. Every page should have gold, whether that be information, strategies, tips, techniques, insights that they can put to use or benefit from, or 2, anecdotes, analogies, personal stories, humor that entertains them while they're learning, right? Doesn't matter. There's different kinds of value in different kinds of books, so just make sure that you take advantage of that tool in medias res. Drop them in the action, but keep the action, keep the good stuff, keep the gold coming with each and every page turn. I'm going to keep this nice, short, and sweet because I'm going to value your time as a viewer and hopefully a subscriber of my channel. If you like this kind of content, I release a writing video every Wednesday, and I would like to ask you to join my channel. If you've watched to the end, either way, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Until next time, bye-bye.